Okay, let's just get right into it. Getting a kidney disease diagnosis, it's completely overwhelming. And for a lot of us, that anxiety hits hardest right at the dinner table. You immediately start thinking about all the foods you're going to have to give up, all those strict rules you've got to follow, and suddenly the simple joy of eating just seems to vanish. But what if the things we fear most about kidney nutrition are actually based on totally outdated information? In today's Explainer, we're diving into the modern medical consensus on kidney diets. And I gotta tell you, I really think you're gonna find this incredibly relieving.
Right off the bat, this is the million-dollar question. Do you actually need a strict kidney diet? Because if you do a quick internet search right now, you'll instantly get hit with these massive lists of do not eat foods. You see red alert warnings about protein, salt, and potassium. It paints this terrifying picture that a highly restrictive diet is absolutely mandatory the second your kidneys show any signs of trouble. But is that really true for you? Let's take a look at the actual numbers. Look at that massive 70% on the screen. According to the medical professionals actually working on the front lines of nephrology today, 70 to 80% of kidney disease patients do not actually need severe dietary restrictions. Let me just repeat that because it is a massive paradigm shift. 70 to 80%. The vast majority of people are stressing out over harsh dietary rules for literally no reason. Now, yes, 20 to 30% of patients, usually those in the advanced stages or dealing with specific complications, they do absolutely need strict interventions. But for everyone else, those severe restrictions you're reading about online are, by and large, completely unnecessary.
So, how in the world did we get this so wrong? Well, here is our roadmap for today. We're going to unpack the diet restriction myth, look at why online info scares us, shift our mindset from restriction to adjustment, reveal the hidden hero of calories, and finally, give you a practical eGFR nutrient guide. Okay, part one, the diet restriction myth and exactly where it came from. So this comparison really illustrates the history perfectly. Back in the 1990s and early 2000s, the absolute biggest battle in kidney care was against diabetes. The typical patient starting dialysis back then was a middle-aged person struggling with severe diabetic nephropathy. And since diabetes meds just weren't as advanced as they are today, throwing down a strict dietary restriction was basically the primary weapon doctors had to control blood sugar and protect the kidneys. But things have changed. Today, our diabetes medications are incredibly effective. The new reality we're facing is an aging population. Right now, 1 in 4 people starting dialysis is 75 or older. So the modern medical focus has completely shifted. It's not just about fighting obesity anymore. It's about preventing our elderly patients from becoming frail and wasting away. The old strict restriction playbook, it just doesn't fit the modern patient demographic at all. Moving on to part two, why online info scares you and the hidden mechanics behind all of it. The real answer to why you're so scared lies in the hidden mechanics of the internet. First up, we've got content creators hedging their bets. Imagine a creator tells an audience of 20,000 people that they can eat normally. Even if 95% of them are totally fine, that creator is absolutely terrified of the 5% who might have a severe reaction because their specific condition actually required restriction. So, to cover themselves, they just default to the strictest, safest advice across the board. Second, corporate liability avoidance. Large food manufacturers and massive health websites do the exact same thing. They highlight restrictions just to avoid lawsuits. And third, there's what we call position talk. Put simply, there is an entire industry built entirely around selling specialized, expensive, low-protein or low-salt foods. It's highly profitable to make you feel like normal food is dangerous. Basically, the internet is acting out of self-interest, not out of your specific medical need. All right, part three, restriction versus adjustment. Get ready because this is a huge mindset shift. We have got to stop using the word restriction and start embracing the word adjustment. The word restriction implies eating less, completely cutting out foods you love, and ultimately risking malnutrition and frailty, which, as we just saw, is incredibly dangerous for today's older patients. Adjustment, on the other hand, is proactive. It's empowering. It means if you have to reduce one specific element, you consciously increase another one to maintain your overall nutritional balance and energy. You are not starving yourself. You are simply rebalancing the scales. Now, keeping that powerful concept of adjustment in mind, I want to share a quote that might completely upend everything you thought you knew about a kidney diet. Many top doctors are now explicitly arguing what is important is not salt, protein, or potassium. Which leads us perfectly into part four, the hidden hero, calories. This is the crucial element. The absolute most important element in a modern kidney diet is calories. Yep, you heard me right. Calories. The very thing modern diet culture constantly tells us to avoid is actually the hidden hero of kidney care. Maintaining an adequate calorie intake is now seen as the top priority to prevent physical decline, muscle loss, and that dangerous frailty we talked about, especially if you're older or already on the thinner side. Let's look at this adjustment concept in action so you can really see why calories are so vital. Say your doctor does tell you to restrict protein. What actually happens? Well, step 1, you restrict your protein. Step 2, because protein is full of calories, you immediately experience a calorie deficit. If you just stop there, you're going to lose weight, lose muscle, and your body will quite literally start breaking down its own tissues for energy, which is terrible for your kidneys. So step 3 is mandatory. You must consciously increase your healthy carbohydrates or fats to compensate for that lost energy and keep your total calorie intake stable. That, my friends, is true adjustment. And hey, this whole concept applies directly to salt, too. We constantly hear that we need to limit salt to 6 grams a day, right? But take a look at the stark reality in this chart. Only 12% of kidney patients actually hit that goal. 88% don't even come close. It is incredibly hard to do, mostly because food just becomes so bland. And here is the real hidden danger. If a strict, bland, low-salt diet completely ruins your appetite and you just stop eating, your calories plummet. Doctors are finally realizing that maintaining your appetite and your calorie intake is often far safer than literally starving yourself just to hit some perfect salt metric. If a little extra dash of salt keeps you eating, for a lot of patients, that is simply the better medical choice. Finally, let's get into part 5, your eGFR nutrient guide. Time for some highly actionable takeaways. To put this into practice, you really need to know your eGFR, your estimated glomerular filtration rate. Don't let the long name scare you. Just think of it as a score out of 100 that tells you how well your kidneys are working. Generally, a score under 60 means you have kidney disease, and dropping below 10 usually means you're looking at dialysis. Now, what is absolutely crucial to understand here is that about 60 to 70% of patients actually fall into the mild to moderate range, meaning they have an eGFR of 45 and above. So if your eGFR is 45 or higher, here's a really clear guide for you. Look at potassium first. Despite what you read on the internet, for the vast majority of people in this group, no restriction is needed whatsoever. Unless your blood tests specifically show dangerously high levels or your doctor has directly told you to cut back, you don't need to panic about bananas. Next up, calories. You absolutely must adjust and maintain them. Whatever you do, do not let yourself become malnourished. And lastly, salt. Yes, 6 grams a day is a fantastic target to aim for, but remember the golden rule. Prioritize your overall appetite. It is way more dangerous to waste away from a lack of calories than to be slightly over your daily salt limit. Okay, but what about phosphorus? Again, a quick web search will tell you to avoid all sorts of healthy plant proteins, but modern medical advice is so much more targeted now. You really only need to avoid the truly high-risk artificial sources. We're talking about heavily processed meats like ham and sausages, and the artificial additives that get pumped into soft drinks. If you just cut those specific things out, most people in the mild to moderate stages really don't need to stress over the natural phosphorus you get from a regular, balanced diet. So, as we wrap up this explainer, I want to leave you with one final, really important question to ask yourself. Are you restricting your life, or are you adjusting for it? The internet, well, it wants you terrified. It wants you hyper-focused on restrictions out of an abundance of corporate liability and self-interest. But the actual medical science, it shows that for the majority of patients, extreme restriction is totally unnecessary and can actually lead to dangerous frailty. So please, take this information, bring it to your doctor, and build a personalized adjustment plan that works for you. Do not let fear dictate your diet. Stay informed, eat smart, and I'll catch you in the next explainer.